All right, good afternoon. My name is Justin Scott here with another Lowell Ledger podcast. I'm here with 3 of our 4 Lowell soccer college commits, so try to get Carter Szymanski on. He had to work, unfortunately, but what I do have here is I have Jackson Liley, Aubree Lee, and Lincoln Homolka. Welcome on, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'll start with Lincoln. You're the veteran of this podcast crew. You've been on before. So tell me, where you're going and
I'm going down to the University of Olivet.
okay.
Yeah.
Aubree?
I'm playing at Tiffin University in Ohio.
Okay. And Jackson?
I'm playing at Eastern Illinois, and it's a little bit down south of Eastern Illinois.
Yeah, so you guys all stayed in the Midwest, but all going to different. I think we've got a really good mix here because we've got, Division I over there with Eastern Illinois, and we've got 2 a little bit smaller schools, but regional with Olivet and Tiffin. So I'll start with Lincoln. Why did you choose Olivet?
I chose it just because when I went down there for my visit, I just liked the smaller setting of the college, and I just felt at home there.
Aubree, what about you with Tiffin?
A lot of Tiffin it's 75% athletes, which was like pretty cool to me. And then I got to meet the team and everything, and I felt like I fit in mostly there.
And you were the first of these 3 to commit, I believe. Why did you commit early, and how has that helped you in the spring season?
I started visiting a lot in the summer, and once you commit, a lot of stress is off your back, and I just feel like it's a lot easier to play because your head's less full.
Mm-hmm. And Jackson, we just had our feature on you in the Ledger for Eastern Illinois, but for those listening on the podcast that haven't read the article, why did you commit to Eastern?
Eastern Illinois was a really cool experience. Kind of like Lincoln said, when I went on my visit, it seemed really, really cool, and it seemed I kind of wanted to go to a big school, but I also wanted to go to a small school because I know that super small school isn't what I wanted. I didn't want to go to some massive school, so I thought Eastern Illinois was a perfect mix of that. And then I think the soccer team was very, very just welcoming, and it sounded like a really good community and program to be a part of. So that's kind of why I committed.
So as somebody who has watched a lot of Premier League soccer, that sort of thing, your backstory of living in England for a couple of years is so interesting to me. Take me through how that happened and your experience in England.
So after 3rd grade, it was 3rd grade summer for me. My dad wanted to get his master's, and my mom was a big traveler, and so she thought the best way for us to experience both of that was for my dad to go get his master's over in England. So I don't know many people, we went to Southampton is where we lived, but then we lived on a small island very south of London, and called the Isle of Wight, and that's kind of when soccer really excelled for me, because when I got there, I wanted to try out for a basketball team, but they didn't have a single basketball team on the island, and same with football, and it was just soccer. So then when I joined the soccer team, I was playing soccer for every single day for almost 2 years is what it felt like, and that's kind of when I came back. I wanted to keep playing with my same team that I was playing with before I left, but my parents forced me to try out for a better team, and that's kind of when I started taking soccer super serious and wanted to play college soccer.
And so did you go to any Premier League games or anything like that?
Yeah, so when I lived on the Isle of Wight, it was a 30-minute ferry, which is a boat ride, and then it was 10 minutes away from there to Southampton Stadium, and Southampton's a team that they're in and out of the championship in the Premier League, but for the 2 years we were there, they were in the Premier League, and I went to multiple games. I saw Man City and Man United, and that's kind of when I would pick players, and I'm following ever since.
Oh, that's really cool. Aubree, how's the spring sports season going with soccer?
So we had a pretty easy week last week. We played Greenville and Northview, and then last night we had a pretty rough game against Byron Center. And then tomorrow we play Forest Hills Northern again. Right now we do have a winning record. So it started off pretty good, and there's a lot of potential our team has. We have a pretty young team this year.
It's a very tough conference, so you're facing a lot of shots week in, week out, generally.
Yeah, we have 3 of the teams in our OK Weight conference are ranked top 15 in the state right now. One of them's ranked 2, and I think the other one's 6th, and then one's, I think, 12. So
a game like Greenville last week, where I think you actually touched the ball one time, what is your role during a game like that where it's really a lot of the balls on the other side of the pitch?
A lot of it's just talking, keeping the same, keeping it all very similar to other games that are high intensity, just to make sure we stay on the same page with how we play our defensive line and everything like that, and just make sure we still have the similarities that we would in any other game.
Lincoln, our other goalkeeper here. I'm curious, kind of your thoughts on this. So, when you're a pretty good high school soccer player, as you and all these others here are, you kind of have a choice. Do you play high school or do you play club? And you did both, over your high school career. What's the thought process behind that?
I think, well, from what I've seen with like all my friends who played club soccer, they could have been recruited if they played high school too. Like most of them went, or some of them went to D3 schools like I'm going to. So I think the recruitment part of club soccer is kind of like overused a little bit. But I think just like playing high school, I was with my friends. I enjoyed it a lot more. It was way more fun to play high school for me. But I did enjoy traveling too. The traveling was fun with playing with club.
Yeah, Jackson, what are your thoughts on that? Because I know you've also had kind of a similar scenario.
Yeah, I think definitely what Lincoln said with high school being more fun, I think is definitely like a true, because I think when I went to high school, it almost felt like way more fun and I was enjoying it and I liked being around the team each and every day. But then with like club, I think it's more of like a strict environment because you're around people from all over the state. Some of like the best players, like I have a few kids on my team from Indiana and Illinois and kids from like up north pretty far in Michigan. So I think when you have like that kind of community, it helps you as like a player because then you're pushing yourself each and every day to be better and better. But then I think with the high school aspect, it's also a very cool aspect to like want the ball, get the ball a lot, and score a bunch of goals because that's like what everyone wants to do.
Aubree, what are your kind of thoughts on this?
I had the opportunity to play club my junior year, and I decided to stick with high school soccer just because, like, I've known my team for a while, and Joe Woodruff, which is our girls' head coach, he was, like, the main person who got me recruited. So I think I kind of see what Lincoln's saying where, like, you can be recruited through high school soccer. Like, I did play club, but I didn't play at as high of level as Jackson does, so.
It's just a very, like, interesting part of the high school game right now. You have, these options that players can choose, one way or another, and there are pros and cons to both, that sort of thing. I'll go back to Aubree. So over the winter, you were wrestling manager, and you did that for a long time. What was that like, just kind of being on the, your mat side for 4 straight state championships?
The wrestling community is a lot different than the soccer community, I'd say. There's a lot more involvement in it, like outside source involvement. So it's cool to be like around like that environment for 4 years every single winter. Takes up a lot of your time though. Like it's hard to balance off-season soccer and that, but it's fun to be around it and everything. Like I enjoyed it. Probably my favorite year is my freshman year of it though. So.
Was your brother wrestling then? Okay.
Yeah, my brother was a senior that year.
Got it. Okay.
So.
Well, that makes sense. Lincoln, so what's the recruiting process like when you're, looking for colleges and are interested in playing at the next level?
So most people think that colleges will come talk to you right away or like they'll make the first move, but in reality, you really have to reach out and talk to coaches and be like active, like sending one coach your highlight reel and sending him a little message or sending a different coach your highlight reel. Like just all the schools you're interested in, make sure you're reaching out to them before they reach out to you, and it kind of gives them more of like a positive mindset when they come and they see you.
So it's not like the typical, Michigan State's coming to a Lowell soccer game tonight. They're going to watch me and they're going to recruit me sort of thing. You have to put in the effort as far as recruiting. And you're all nodding your heads. So, Aubree, like, did you reach out to Tiffin?
Yeah, so I was through I had like a recruiting app, like an account set up, and they posted like a thing and it was like in need of a 2024 goalkeeper. And I texted like the coach and then he called me like an hour after. So like, a lot of coaches want to see your interest because, like, they could be wanting to recruit you, but they could think you don't have interest because you haven't reached out to them first. So.
And what was, when you, like, committed Tiffin, what was your thought process on like how far away from home it was, the proximity to your hometown?
So Tiffin's about 3.5 hours from my house, which is kind of like perfect distance because it's not like too far where like I can't come home for a weekend and I don't have to like fly home or anything. But it's also like far enough to where I can still like be on my own a little bit more. So
Jackson, where's Eastern Illinois? Like, what's the
It's
city name?
exactly 5 hours away, and it's in Charleston, Illinois. So
Okay.
kind of like what Aubree said, it's like a really good distance where it's like I'm not gonna have to fly home. It may take me like half a day to get there, but I think it'll be like a good mix of being far away from my home and then also being like still somewhat close to it.
And Lincoln, you're going to Olivet, which is maybe an hour from here, maybe? Okay,
Hour.
okay. So, yeah, did you want to stay close to home? Was that your goal?
I mean, an hour for me is good. Like,
Okay.
I was thinking the same thing they were. Like, it's far enough away where I'm by myself and I can make my own decisions. But at the same time, if I need anything or if I want to go home, it's really close, so I can if I want to.
Aubree, so at the end of the season, and I don't know if this is news to you, but you will likely have the girls' soccer record for most goals in a career, most goals in a season. Do you ever think of that going through like the season, anything like that?
no, I haven't really like thought about like my stats and stuff. Like Bridget Garter, she was a really good goalkeeper. I saw her a few weeks ago actually. She was home. Saw her, and I don't really think about it. Like after our Forest Hills Northern game, I set the record for saves for girls like in a single game, which was 30 last year against Forest Hills Northern. And like Elena told me, and I was kind of like, holy crap, like really? And I was kind of in shock, but I haven't even like looked up what the stats are at all. I have no clue about them.
Okay. The that 30 goal game, or not the 30 goal game, coach. The 30 save game. Like, what were those saves like? Were there a lot of like simple balls that were going through that you just kind of collected, or were they a lot of them all just very like hard shots to take care of?
Forest Hills Northern has one girl from ECNL, which is where Jackson was playing. They have one girl who played high school last year from ECNL. She's on Reese Wagman's team. And she has like a foot to her. So some of them came from her. A lot of saves come very simple, but some are just like good saves at the same time. It's like a mix of both, I guess.
Jackson, what's the travel schedule like when it comes to like travel soccer like you played?
Well, so just last weekend, I actually had a pretty rough schedule. We played Saturday at 2 in Detroit, and so the game ended around 4. And then we had a game on Sunday in Wisconsin at 9 a.m. So I had to drive 6 hours, stay in a hotel, wake up, play the game, and then drive home. Got home at around like 4 or 5. And so, I mean, doing that on like a week-to-week basis, it seems like quite a lot to like everyone. But for me, I've been doing it for like so long now that it kind of seems like routine. And I don't mind it because I love playing soccer. So I think, losing a weekend here and there is something that I'm okay with doing if it means I get to play soccer.
And so are you driving, or are like your parents driving with you, or like is the club taking care of it? What's that like?
So when we do big events, our team will go together. Like we'll maybe do like a bus ride down or something like that, or maybe get a plane ride together. But for like a weekend like that where it's just 2 regular season games in Wisconsin and like Detroit, I usually drive with my parents. Me and both my parents go to like almost every game. And I try to offer up to drive a little bit, but my parents usually do most of the driving.
We'll switch over to non-soccer for a little bit. Lincoln, you've got, how many days do you have left? Do you know for in
23
school?
days.
23 days.
23 school days.
Or no, it's 23 total days.
23
Yeah.
total days?
Okay.
Oh.
But you guys know the number, so you're counting down.
Yeah.
What's that like, knowing that you're almost done?
I am ready to be done.
Okay.
The senioritis is kicking in hard right now.
I kind of feel the same way as like I wake up every day and I'm just like, no way, I got to go to school.
Yeah, and the hardest part is I have to stay eligible for soccer, so it's not like I can use my senioritis and be like, oh, I just won't go today, or like use any of my absences.
No senior skip days in your future.
No.
No, but yeah, I remember me walking these halls 11 years ago. Seems like a long time ago, which it probably was. Wondering why am I still here, that sort of thing. But obviously, I was golfing, so I couldn't like do any senior skip days or anything like that. Otherwise, I'm not playing. But yeah, so it's almost over. Is there anything like you think you're gonna miss? You're looking forward to being done with? I mean,
I'm gonna miss the high school soccer.
Okay.
That's something
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna miss. It'll be a big change from high school to college. But then I think also this year, which was a really big part of me, Jackson, and Aubree kind of too, football games.
mm-hmm.
Student section.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss the student section.
Yeah, and you're all going. Sorry, go ahead, Aubree. You were about to
I
say
feel
something.
like this like the school spirit too with high school versus college is very different. So like that's gonna be a little like hard to like not have.
I think also maybe for like Aubree, but I'm going to Illinois. Like I think most of my friends, like a lot of them are going to like Alabama or staying in Michigan, and so I think kind of like seeing all my friends each and every day is going to be something that I'm going to miss because I'm going to be in Illinois and I'm not going to really have any friends like within like a 2-hour radius of me. So
Alabama like has a very weird pipeline. Lowell to Alabama. Like one of my close friends, he also went to Alabama and graduated a few years ago. Like what's that like? Is there a reason for it?
So they had this huge scholarship that they would give out to people who had a really good GPA and a really good SAT.
Mm-hmm.
So two of my friends, Nick Williams and Jack Shader, are both going there for like a really, really good amount of money. And they actually just ended it this year. So it kind of sucks for people that are like juniors or sophomores because I think the whole reason of it was they had such a good athletic reputation at Alabama, and so they wanted to get their academic, and so then they brought in a bunch of these smart kids and given them a lot of money, and now that they've done that, now they've kind of like cut off into it. So
They're trying to get best of both worlds. They've got great athletic programs. Now they're trying to get a great academic program. Yeah, I haven't talked to Jack in a while. I kind of earmarked him as going to Michigan, but that'll be cool. He'll enjoy it at Alabama. Any AP classes for you guys?
I take 3 right now.
3, okay.
I take one.
1? Okay.
I take 3 as well.
Okay, all right. And what's your hardest class right now?
AP pre-calc for sure.
AP stats.
AP Gov.
And are those coming up here in May? Is that right? Those tests?
Yeah, I'm taking the psych and pre-calc one, and I know the psych one is 16 days away, so
Okay.
like right the week before we graduate.
I'm taking Gov and stats, and I don't know when Gov is, but they're back to back 2 days.
It sucks when they're like back to back like that. You don't have any breathing room. It seems like, but you get them done like right away.
Yeah.
I missed the payment, so I'm not taking the test.
Oh no. So just kind of concluding here. Like, what was the part about like high school soccer that you and travel soccer that you enjoyed the most, Jackson?
I think high school soccer, for me, most enjoyable thing was just seeing like all my friends, because I think like club soccer, they're my friends, but they're not as good as my high school friends. And I think like being in a high school environment where you have practice every single day and your games are like 15, 20 minutes away and you're at a bus is something that like I really, really enjoy. And that's kind of what college is more so, is you're really close with like your team. I think the thing with club that I really liked so much was just how good everyone was. So like the environment that you were in was like you had to be on your A game or otherwise you weren't going to play that day or stuff like that. So I think that was like the 2 big things for me in each respective.
Aubree, I know, you've got a little bit of the season to finish, but what about you?
Yeah, I think mine's just like traveling with all the girls every week. You get so close with like girls you never thought you'd be like close with, I guess. And then just like we got a new coaching staff and everything, and they've been like phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I think just playing in like the high school, like, what do you call it?
environment.
Yeah,
Atmosphere.
environment. Just the high school environment. Just having your friends show up to your games that don't play your sport, or be able to just go out for like a night, basically go play a soccer game with all your buddies, and then go get some like Culvers or something afterwards. I'm gonna miss that.
All right, well, Jackson, good luck at Eastern Illinois. Aubree, good luck the rest of the season at Tiffin. And Lincoln, good luck at Olivet. Sorry we aren't able to go through all of your 4th hour. You'll actually have to go.
Man.
It sucks.
But all right, thanks again, guys.
Thank you.
you.
Yeah, thank you.